So what was the question again? Oh, why is it called the traffic jam? Well, the reason is, it's because I have two really cool cars. Seriously cool cars. And I love drifting, racing, because I am fast and slick, and plus I like to create a bit of traffic jam myself with a whole lot of great music. Bulunaka, my name is Real, your host and DJ, right here on the Today FM Traffic Jam every weekday from 3 p.m. to 7. Right here on Today FM, today's hit music.
In this bulletin, Prime Minister announces competition in the search for a new Fiji flag. Police granted extension to hold murder suspect for 4 days for questioning. And the Nadi 4-lane road project is on schedule. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. Fiji will have a new flag and a national competition has been launched to capture the new design. Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama announced the government's decision to replace the existing flag in Nasinu today. Akusita Tale reports.
The Union Jack and the Shield will be removed from the flag. Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama says the new flag should reflect Fiji's position in the world today as a modern and truly independent nation-state.
The existing flag is widely loved and admired, and I want to stress that the initiative is in no way a repudiation of it or the warm sentiments we feel whenever it is raised. It has served us well since it was introduced at independence in 1970.
Voreqe Bainimarama says the new flag will be inclusive and based on a general consensus. A national competition will be held for the design of the new flag. The public, including school children, will be encouraged to enter the competition.
We are also going to form a national committee chosen from a broad section of Fijian society to judge the entries and choose the most appropriate design. This national panel of citizens, including nominees from the leader of the opposition, will be set up and selected by government. All Fijians expect that something so important should be apolitical. So I ask everyone to participate in this most noble of endeavors.
The competition and the formation of the national panel will commence this month. The whole competition will be open for 2 months before the new flag will be hoisted and raised on the 10th of October this year to commemorate Fiji's Independence Day.
As well as this national panel of citizens, every Fijian will be given an opportunity to have a view on this issue and vote on the final design via social media and text platforms. We urge every Fijian to take part in this process, irrespective of age, gender, or socio-economic background. Of course, the design of the new flag will also be considered by Parliament, and I will make a ministerial statement when Parliament resumes next week.
It's good because all students can take part, few of them, if they like to.
People are going to give in their views how actually the flag should look like and what the basic color and the design of the flag should be. It's a very good decision of the government to take all people's choice of how the flag should look like.
It's a good idea because the government is involving all Fijian in the flag competition.
Bainimarama also shared his personal preference to retain the existing Fiji blue background. He also encouraged the designers to capture the flora and fauna that are unique to Fiji on the new flag. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
The Magistrates Court has granted the police an extension to continue to question the only suspect they have in custody for the alleged murder of Holland Sito. This has been confirmed by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. Police had sought the advice of the DPP's office about getting an extension to keep the suspect in custody for up to 4 more days. The DPP's office says a notice of motion and supporting affidavit justifying the continued detention of the suspect was filed in court yesterday. The application for extension of time has been granted by the court until Friday. This means on Friday, the police must either charge the suspect and produce him in court, apply for another extension of time, or release him. Sita was found dead in his office at Laudala Beach Estate in Asinu last Thursday. The Fiji Roads Authority has 2 major road projects in Nadi worth close to $100 million, which are being constructed simultaneously. The Nadi 4-lane project has been progressing on schedule, while the Ndenarau Bypass Road is facing delays. Christopher Chand reports.
The Nandi 4-lane project, which started in October last year, is progressing significantly.
At this point in time, switch the airport entrances, the timing being that we finish off airport entrance on this side with the 2 lanes on this side. So mid-Feb, there'll be a bit of switching around the entrance so that we go from one side to the other. But the big switch from the left-hand side, if you're coming from Lautoka, to the right-hand side for the traffic will be mid-March.
The scale of the road development has increased from around the airport corridor towards Nasoso Junction and the Votuolevu roundabout. The next phase will be from Namaka towards Wailoloa Road, which is expected to start in July.
Our challenge is to deal with these things and to mitigate and plan. We still have plenty of time ahead of the project to deal with these challenges and hope that we can meet contractual deadlines.
The contractor Higgins is working closely with utilities like telecom, electricity and the water authority.
It's had an impact, the WAF master plan, but we're hoping to incorporate it into the project and work together so that, we can meet our deadlines.
On the other end, China Railway Group 5 is working on the Ndenarau Bypass Road.
So with the hiccups, I think they've been given a couple of months extension. I'm not exactly sure where that is. And we're working with them to review that.
The road infrastructure will improve once both projects are completed towards the end of 2016. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
And former Navy Commander William Naupoto has been promoted to Navy Captain and assumes the role of Chief of Staff in the military. Naupoto is a former sports minister in the last government. Land Force Commander Colonel Sitiveni Ngilio announced the change today. And coming up after the break, Fiji Navy welcomes New Zealand Air Force assistance.
And black velvet for you. Hi there, join me on the Centre Show every weekday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the best sounds on Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. The Fiji Navy says it welcomes any assistance provided by the Royal New Zealand Air Force. A Royal New Zealand Air Force Orion conducted a maritime surveillance of Fiji's exclusive economic zone, along with the Fiji Navy and the Fisheries Department over the weekend. Eleanor Tarangaivu reports.
The Fiji Navy is in charge of the maritime surveillance of Fiji's exclusive economic zone.
The only shortcoming that we may have is the availability for aerial assets to conduct surveillance in the waters, because we have quite a big area of EEZ to cover. We will welcome any assistance on their part.
3 naval officers were part of the surveillance team on Saturday.
We just verify all the fishing vessels that are seen. They're plotted. We go through our records with the fisheries departments and see if they are licensed. We had a patrol boat out in the waters there, so if there was any suspicious activity, they could have been directed straight towards it. They would verify the actual information by the actual boarding of the fishing vessels.
Following the 2.5-hour surveillance, The New Zealand Air Force Chief Mike Yardley says they will return in the near future.
This is just the start. We will certainly be back, probably operating out of Nandi rather than Suva, but we certainly will be back and patrolling your exclusive economic zone.
Commander Navy John Fox says the Pacific will also benefit from the Royal New Zealand Air Force's presence in Fiji.
Not permanently basing out of Nandi, usually in support of our neighboring countries, like say Tuvalu, but because Tuvalu does not have a major airfield of no, they will base their operational, the aerial surveillance out of Nandi. But the good thing about basing out of Nandi, when it does aerial surveillance for our neighbors, because they are coming in and out of Nandi, they overfly Fiji waters, and at the same time they are doing aerial surveillance for us.
Despite strained relations between Fiji and New Zealand after the 2006 coup, the Royal New Zealand Air Force continued to help Fiji over the years, conducting search and rescue operations and transporting disaster relief supplies 2 years ago. Eleanor Turangaibu, FBC News.
The Nasino office of the Legal Aid Commission has been opened by the Prime Minister today. Vorenge Bainimarama says the new office will benefit the ordinary Fijians and give them better access to justice. Bainimarama says there is something noble about lawyers providing low-income Fijians access to the law. The Prime Minister is expected to open another legal aid office in Navua on Thursday. The Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority expects a simplified version of tax laws to be available in the coming months. FIRCA Chief Executive Chitoko Tikoilevu says tax agents have constantly complained of the income tax decree being too complex. He adds all the consultations with stakeholders have been considered and included in the review of the decree.
Our legislation at the moment has been subject to a lot of other interpretation by all stakeholders. They got their own version. That does not help. So the new income tax decree, which we've been consulting and having workshops with all stakeholders, the private sector, is with the AG's office, and something will be done very shortly to be pushed further to Cabinet for endorsement. So that will go in a long way to simplify our process.
Tikoilevu confirms the entire operations and procedures of the Fiji Revenue Customs Authority is currently under review, the first since its inception in 1999. The military will redeploy troops at Camp Zouani in the Golan Heights to Lebanon later this week. 146 soldiers will be part of the first move on Thursday. Watisoni Rakanroka reports.
Some of the soldiers who were part of this group held captive by rebels late last year will be among those redeployed to Lebanon. Land Force Commander Colonel Sitiven Ngiliho says Cabinet has approved this mission.
The troops are ready. All their manifests in regards to their weapons, the stores and equipment, and also in regards to immigration clearances and all that administration part of the move has been done. And like I said, they will be moving across on the 5th into Lebanon from the Golan Heights.
Gilio says a reconnaissance team traveled to Lebanon and presented its report.
All that was happening concurrently with the troops being prepared in the Golan Heights in regards to retraining for that mission in UNIFIL. And also when they get into to UNIFIL, there will be also their indoctrination training in UNIFIL for the role that they will play in that mission.
The soldiers in the Golan have held their farewell parade, which was reviewed by the UNDOF Chief of Staff, Major Chone Kaluniwai. The military will also appoint a senior officer who will be based with soldiers at UNIFIL in Lebanon. Watisoni Rekandroka, FBC News.
The President Ratuepeli Nailatikau received the new resident ambassador for the United States to Fiji at Government House this morning. Ambassador Judith Sefkin presented her credentials to the President before holding talks at his office. Sefkin will be based in Suva and is also accredited to Kiribati, Nauru, Tonga and Tuvalu. She says she's excited to serve the Pacific. Sefkin has represented the U.S. in various capacities at different missions in many parts of the world. And it's time to join our man in the suit with the latest in sports.
Thank you, Jackie, and good evening. In sports after the break, Ben Ryan will be cautious with Viriviri's game time in Wellington, and Reddy family demand honest answers regarding the circumstances surrounding the death of Muni Selit Reddy. Details coming up.
Ni sambul bina kana turna kini marama ni bulu bina kana doro bo kini mone lewa. Ni bulu bina kana mone. En go talem no no ni wawe katalau ena mataka ena nai.
En vindelana mai nei tasiri.
Nung bulu maleka go ni milote nai sorta boa.
En lomo ni bonua mai sianganga.
Yung bulu ni go Samuel Samli. Na nota ni ni wawe katalau ena radio Fiji wan nandomo vitina vong kani venu. Mai no kini diwa ena bi mataka moni tiki na pagrubuka. Nika inamaka.
Vodafone Fiji Sevens coach Ben Ryan says he will be taking a cautious approach with speedster Samisoni Viriviri during the Wellington Sevens. Viriviri, who was the 2014 World Rugby Sevens Player of the Year, joined Montpellier Rugby Club in France last year. He was recalled by Ryan for the Wellington and Las Vegas tournaments to boost the Fiji side with his speed and try-scoring ability.
It's exciting to have him in the team. You know, I'm also realistic that he's not going to hit the ground running, and I don't expect him to play every minute of every game. You know, I've got to make sure I've got his jets ready to fire for the big games as well as the pool games. So I'll have to manage him carefully, but everything's there to make me think he's going to have an outstanding tournament.
The Wellington Sevens gets underway on Friday at 11 a.m. and you can catch live coverage right here on FBCTV with live commentary on Bull FM. Fiji plays Portugal at 12:03 p.m. in its first pool match, then Wales at 2:58 p.m. and then finally Australia at 5:54 p.m. The TFL Fijiana Sevens side is on a mission to improve with every tournament it plays on the Women's World Series. The side departed for Brazil today, and coach Ilyas Satanivula says the preparation phase is over and now it's time for the players to prove their mettle on the pitch. Josephine Vula has more.
After sacrificing their festive season training for the Brazil tournament, the TFL Fijiana side are geared. Coach Ilyas Satanivula says the players have proved their worth at training and gaining selection in the final 12, and now it's time for them to show it on the field.
Credit to the girls, the way they've just, keep coming back at it, and, it's good to see the passion, and we just got to, get on with it.
Tanibula adds their aim is to maintain the consistency in every tournament they play in.
If we are consistent, or if we take another step up, I'll be happy. But for me, I guess we just got to be consistent and just be ruthless on the day.
The squad have also worked on the areas that needed improvement and hopes that mistakes will not be repeated.
Just the decision making, under pressure. It's something that we've worked out through a training. But, it's sort of, tap and go stuff, and we just got to keep nudging at it and, hopefully it comes off.
Unlike any other international team, Tanivula says the Fijiana players play with passion for the sport, and that has been one thing that has made them come this far. The team is pooled with Australia, Brazil and China and meets China first up this Sunday. Josephina Vula, FBC Sports.
The family of the late Fiji Under-17 football rep Shalit Reddy wants clear answers from the national team management about the circumstances surrounding his death in Samoa. Reddy, who represented Fiji in the Oceania Championships, drowned during a picnic with his teammates a week ago. Josephine Navula reports.
The death of the late Shalit Reddy shocked his family members and claims they want to know what exactly happened to their son. The family claims they still have not been given correct information on what actually transpired in Samoa.
The vice president of Fiji football, he told us that our son had drowned in a swimming pool. He was doing the paddling and he collapsed. Then after that, in the afternoon, they told us that our son was swimming in the swimming pool and he went outside and he dived from the wrong side. That's why he drowned. Two stories. The other morning, we read the Fiji Times. Then we know that from up here to some other island they took them. We sent our son to play soccer, not for the picnic. We doesn't give the consent to go to the picnic. He doesn't know how to swim. We know.
The family further claims that there are a lot of misleading information on the incident.
That fella was told, but I think the boy, any of the patient will drown, he will come out. Two, in our experience, but he will come out two times, third time he will go inside, won't come out. But at that time, these people were doing what? Really. They can't. They are not saying the right thing.
The family is also calling on to the government to help them in investigating on what had really happened that had caused the tragic incident. Josephine Vula, FBC Sports.
Josephine joins us now live from our Nandi office. Josephine, has the Fiji FA commented on the claims by Reddy's family?
Yes, Jamie, the Fiji Football Association has this afternoon issued a statement on the matter. Fiji FA President Rajesh Patel says they will divulge information to the family once they have completed their thorough investigation. Patel says they will meet the family once the team management and Samoan authorities have given their reports. He further says they are also waiting for the official 16-day mourning period that the family is currently observing to be over before meeting them. Patel has reassured the family that they are not withholding or hiding any information.
Thank you for that update, Josephine. Moving on, cricket. Fiji has pulled its men's team out of the Pacific Games. It says it was a tough decision, but one which had to be made. However, the women's cricket side will still compete at the regional meet in Papua New Guinea. Cricket Fiji also added that it's not the only nation withdrawing participation at the Games. Indra Singh has more.
Cricket Fiji has decided to forego the upcoming Pacific Games in order to concentrate on bigger events which are coming its way.
It's mostly money, but we would love to be represented at the Pacific Games. It's just that we do have World Cricket League coming up at the end of the year, and then that's where all the money is coming from. It was a tough decision to make, but at the end we have to go and prepare for the World Cricket League qualifiers to take that instead of the Pacific Games.
Fiji has always been one of the darlings of the Pacific Games cricket competition, and this was a decision which had to be made. The costs involved in sending both the men's and women's teams was over $40,000.
This World Cricket League will be Division 6. If we do get into the top two, we'll move up to Division 5, and we go up from there. If we do go up in those ladders, that means more high performance funding for us, more opportunities as well to play overseas.
While Fiji will not be competing, news has also filtered in that some other nations have followed suit. This includes countries whose names are mentioned in the same breath as that of the national team.
Yes, Vanuatu has pulled out because with the World Cricket League qualifiers. PNG won't be sending in their number one team. It'll be the PNG A team because there is also a ICC qualifies, I think, for Division 1 or for the T20. They'll be happening at the same time. So without Fiji, PNG, and Vanuatu, I think those are the three major teams in our region. I don't know how they're going to work it out without Vanuatu participate. And I'm hearing again this morning that Samoa is looking also to pull out from the men's games.
It's now left to the women to fly the Fijian flag in cricket in PNG. However, sure to say, without some of the big names in the men's game not present, Pacific Games cricket might not be the same. Indra Singh, FBC Sports.
That is your sports for this evening. It's back to Jackie now with business.
Since taking over management of the Suva and Lautoka ports in 2013, Atkins Spence, one of Sri Lanka's largest maritime logistics companies, has increased productivity. With the launch of a new brand name last night to Fiji Ports Terminal Limited, it hopes to link Fiji to the rest of the world. Akosita Tale was at the launch and files this report.
Fiji Ports Terminal Limited, formerly known as Ports Terminal Limited, hopes that the new brand name will result in an increase in productivity and efficiency. It hopes to put Fiji on the world map as one of the leading ports in the region and hitting world-class rating by bringing best practice into the country.
Now, when you have the right product, we can launch a marketing campaign to boost transshipment volumes, thereby attracting new shipping lines And when you have more shipping lines, ladies and gentlemen, what happens? You will have more capacity. When you have more capacity, the freight rates are bound to go low. The freight rates will obviously lower. That will once again boost exports and imports.
Aitken Spence has in the past 15 months spent about $4.7 million on new equipment for the two ports. The government has acknowledged the partnership with the Sri Lankan company, as this move will increase the value of Fiji as a marketable destination.
The levy that was being charged on containers coming to Fiji being lifted now, it obviously has meant financial benefit not just for the exporters but also for the importers. It also means, apart from the usual sort of dollar value to it, that increases the value of Fiji as a port.
Aitken Spence, which owns 51% shares in Ports Fiji, hopes this partnership will help Fiji compete with the modern ports in the region and the world.
Fiji Ports Terminal Limited firmly believes that a carefully executed plan for modern port facilities to provide a high level of customer service will provide enormous long-term benefits and economic returns for its shareholders as well as for wider stakeholder groups and open the door to new business venture.
The new brand name is expected to bring improvement in cargo operations that will bring about numerous direct benefits to Fiji ports and create new and enhanced advantages for the public. Ako si Tatale, FBC News.
Generally fine weather prevailed over most parts of the country today. A trough of low pressure remains slow-moving to the north of Fiji. It is expected to drift south and start affecting the northern parts of the group from tomorrow. Another day of temperatures hitting the 30s. Nadi and Ba hit 34 degrees, while Sabu recorded 33. Occasional rain and a few thunderstorms are expected over most places tomorrow. Isolated heavy falls expected. Thursday's outlook: occasional rain and few thunderstorms over most places, isolated heavy falls. And the main points once again: Fiji will soon have a new flag to reflect the modern Fiji. The Magistrates Court has granted police an extension to detain a suspect for questioning in the alleged murder of businessman Holland Sito, and former Navy Commander William Poto has been promoted to Navy Captain and assumes the role of Chief of Staff in the military. To our poll question for this week, we're asking: in light of the recent drowning of an under-17 player, we ask, should managers travel with Fiji soccer teams on overseas trips? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. That's our news for today. Join us again tomorrow. Bye for now.